Hi, it's Mav. Trigger warnings are in the description below. Thank you for listening, and please enjoy. Where Nothing Bleeds by Interstellarisms. Read by Maverick. Chapter 7. Resonance. Watching Ryland Grace teach was disarming. As in, even if all he did was watch him, it felt like his body was loosening up, and all the tension uncoils itself in his ribs. It felt like watching the sun shine. He couldn't touch it, but he was satisfied just watching it do its thing. Simon found himself observing the smallest of things. The way Ryland's hands moved when he explained something complicated. Puppet shows were natural to him. The way he crouched or leaned in without thinking, closing the distance between him and his students. The way he disciplines rowdy Iridian children just by raising a hand and going, "My hand is up!" It did something strange to Simon's chest. Back on Eden, kindness had always felt like a resource in itself, something people gave carefully because they didn't really have much left to spare. But this was effortless. It came off of Ryland in waves. It reminded him of the few people he had trusted, even if he couldn't remember them anymore. The ones who remained gentle, even when the world, or what was left of it, gave them every reason not to be. Ryland turned in early last night, telling him he had to think about something important. And of course, Simon had worried about it all night. So when he knocks on the wall to wake him, he already anticipates it. "Can we talk?" Simon looks up at Grace, rubbing his eyes. He had just woken up, and already he felt dread pool in the pit of his stomach when he sees the look on Grace's face. He looked upset, and there were bags under his eyes like he didn't get a lick of sleep. Simon didn't like it. "What's wrong?" He gets out of bed and sits down properly, facing him. "Can you tell me more about that final mission Earth went on? Anything you can remember?" "Ah, shit. It was about that. This would be difficult." But how could he refuse him when he was staring at him like that? He thinks back to those science classes again. Simon exhales slowly, dragging a hand down his face. "They didn't call it the final mission," he says after a beat. "She just said it was just the last attempt." Ryland stays quiet. "They sent a ship out that was supposed to fix whatever was happening." Simon's gaze drifts. "But it didn't come back. After that, things got worse much faster." "What did they say was wrong?" Why was Ryland suddenly asking about this now? He's always been firm about his stance that everything about the SM-13 was impossible, and that, if it happened, none of this would be real. Simon shakes his head. "Not much, just that the stars were going out, and that whatever was causing it, it wasn't behaving like they expected anymore." "Wait," Ryland murmurs, more to himself now. "Not behaving how?" "They stopped explaining it," Simon cuts in. "And they told us it was beyond what we needed to know. just that it was spreading faster than they predicted. Okay, hold on, he mutters, hands moving and drawing patterns in thin air. There it was again. That little habit. Despite the tense conversation, seeing it relieves Simon a little bit. Astrophage feeds on energy. That's its entire biology. It absorbs, stores, then reproduces. It spreads through systems by following energy gradients from star to star and planet to planet. That's how it spreads. Ryland glances at Simon. And we already know it can adapt. It survived things like vacuum and radiation. There's also extreme heat, extreme cold. It can respond to environmental pressure too. It's basically capable of surviving anything. Simon watches him, silent. So what happens if you give something like that enough time? I mean, centuries of time. What year did you come from? At least you knew that. 2370. Grace pinches the bridge of his nose. That's 347 years, Grace mutters. Project Hail Mary was launched in 2023 to find a solution to the Astrophage problem. But if it failed, if no one ever found a way to stop it, then that's over 3 centuries of unchecked growth. His voice lowers. And if that happens, and the most energy-efficient organism in the known universe is given that much time to keep optimizing itself, it stops just feeding, he explains. Organisms like that move on to prioritize what they need. It's basic evolution. It'll start maximizing how to be more efficient in ways that we might not even understand. Grace stands up now, rambling. Neural networks form out of simple systems all the time. You stack enough interactions, enough feedback loops, and eventually you get what? Simon helplessly stares. You get emergent behavior. Grace patiently continues for him, pointing. Things like pattern recognition, decision-making, and eventually intelligence. Astrophage developed intelligence after years of growth. And it wouldn't be intelligence like ours, because Astrophage has been here for way longer than us. We only discovered it was there recently. It was undetected for years. Something like that could evolve into a thing capable of such expansive thought that it could make the impossible possible. It can decide which to kill, which to spare, what to consume first, how to spread. It could develop consciousness. Another piercing headache cuts through Simon's head, and he blurts the sentence out when it forms. I remember. Grace stops. Simon's gaze is distant now, like he was somewhere else entirely. It eventually got in the submarine, and eventually it started growing on the walls, and it was alive. I knew it was, because I felt it in my body. His fingers twitch slightly, and when I made contact with it, it showed me a red sky. Grace feels his breath hitch. IR light. Astrophage propels itself through space using Petrova wavelength IR light. The Hail Mary has something called a petrovoscope, and if you look through it, a massive concentration of astrophage can come off as red. A microorganism that feeds on energy. A system-wide collapse. If Astrophage had gone unchecked for 300 years, then it was possible. The impossible becoming possible. His voice drops to a whisper. That creature wasn't a separate organism, was it? Grace exhales. Jesus, Simon breathes. It was evolved astrophage. Astrophage that developed an intelligence so beyond human understanding that it devoured everything. Grace drags a hand through his hair. I've been thinking about it since you got here. I wanted to believe you. I know how it feels to have nobody believe in something you're trying to prove, you know? I've been laughed out of the academe because of it. But at first it just didn't make any sense. Stars are huge, and their masses take up so much space that if they all just vanish at the same time, it would destroy everything. But it didn't make the stars vanish at all. Ryland shakes his head. It ate them. Drained them so completely, they went dark all at once. Simon's face is stone cold. He recalls a voice speaking in the back of his mind. One of the people back on Eden. Those stars are all dead. Mere ghost light, growing dimmer by the day. Then why am I here? I don't know. Grace shakes his head. The last thing Simon remembered was the taste, smell, and sound of blood, overpowering all his senses. He remembers his arm being torn off. He remembers his limbs sticking to the walls and tearing off of his own flesh just to get to that black box. He remembers tying it up in a life vest to make sure it didn't drown with him. And then everything went dark. Then he woke up with Armando wagging its robot hand in his face. Grace speaks again. What was your last thought before you went out? That I wanted to live, Simon answers. Even as I made peace with my death, I just wanted to live. I just want to live. What's wrong about that? Everything alive produces patterns that show up as electrical activity. Things like chemical gradients in heat, for example. Your brain alone is an insanely complex electromagnetic system, Ryland points, almost emphatically. And you were in the middle of it, completely surrounded by evolved astrophage, which is something that detects, consumes, and responds to energy better than anything we've ever seen. And you didn't want to die. I think it noticed that. You weren't supposed to survive what you went through. By every measurable standard, you were already dead. He stops pacing. And yet, you weren't. So it tried to resolve that. Ryland gestures outward. If it had any form of predictive modeling, or really any ability to simulate outcomes, then it might attempt to test that anomaly by placing you somewhere else. Now that I think about it, it's obvious. If it can manipulate energy on a stellar scale, then space-time isn't off the table. I don't think it time-traveled you in the way science fiction usually does, just that it might have repositioned you. Like string theory. Ryland notices the confusion on Simon's face, and he clarifies. Infinite universe. Different universes where the same situation happened, but with one difference between all of them. Like a timeline, Ryland says, slowly, where the astrophage problem was solved. where the Hail Mary succeeded. Are you telling me that me wanting to live is what brought me here? And that thing spared me? I think your will to live was stronger than its will to kill you. I think you saved yourself. A few hours later, Simon finds himself sat in front of the beach again. They didn't really have a lot of options here. There was one scenery, and he intends to make the most of it. If Ryland's theories were true, then that meant that everything else that happened was real. The quiet rapture was real. The COI was real. It all existed. He just didn't live in that reality anymore because the creature chewed him up and spat him out because he tasted like crap. He tasted like the indomitable human spirit, or some bullshit like that. But it's what landed him here, on Irid, with Grace, with Rocky, with all of those things. It felt good to have answers. They weren't entirely sure if it was true, but something was better than nothing. He hears rocks crunching behind him. He expects Ryland, so he turns with a smile.
Hello, Simon friend.
Oh, fuck. Jolting back a bit. Christ. He wasn't used to seeing the guy so up close. He was used to looking down at him, considering he was about the size of a cat. He notices the little voice box beside his suit. Ryland didn't need a translator for himself, but Simon did. He must have asked Rocky to wear it for him.
Word not recognized.
He didn't know what the word fuck meant. Did Ryland ever swear around this guy? He's not going to ruin that. It's not an important word, don't worry.
Why out here, question? How's warm?
I needed to think.
Of?
Everything. Did Ryland tell you?
About come from different universe. Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah.
It's difficult for you to process, question?
A bit.
It's okay. You have much time.
Thanks.
You like Grace, question?
Blinking. What?
Human have bad hearing. Grace asked me same. I said you like Grace, question?
Do I like Ryland? Yeah. He's really cool. And smart. And kind.
Grace mate candidate.
Simon is rendered speechless. What could he even say? The little guy wasn't wrong at all. I'm attracted to him, yeah. He's given me everything. But I don't know if I can go that far.
Why not, question?
Simon has a million reasons ready in his head. He's too good for me. His soul is too pure to be marred with mine. I don't deserve him. He can do better than me.
You only other human.
I know, but I don't think I can make him happy. When was the last time he did that? Is he even capable of it? He can't even remember.
But he wants. He told me.
His eyes widen. He told you? I don't think you should have told me that.
Why not? Speed up mating. Do you need summon courage too? Question?
To talk to him? Probably. It takes me courage to do anything.
You and Grace same. Need courage to talk. Compatible. Make happy. It's not different from Iridian mating. Pick someone same to you. Love forever. Simple.
Simple. He can't believe the best advice he's ever received is from a rock with legs. He thinks about it for the rest of the day.